we're living in this crazy time where this thing didn't really exist in this form 15 years ago. It's a new thing. And now we have the sum total knowledge and information of all of humanity pretty much at our fingertips.
Yep.
And so what that means is if we're not careful, it can just take over. And so for a lot of us, both as parents and dealing with kids, we need to talk about what are some strategies to sort of claw back time that maybe we have ceded unintentionally to this, this thing that's always right in front of us, right?
Hey there, it is Faith Talk Today. I am Rick Probst. Hope you are having a rockin' Atlanta weekend. We're about to rock here in seconds. Adam Holz with us from Focus on the Family. He's the Director of Media and Culture at Focus, and he oversees editing and publishing of Plugged In. So we're going to find out more about that. In fact, Adam, welcome.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate being on.
Before we went live, in fact, earlier this morning, Ezra and I were talking, and he knew of Plugged Ins because his mom used to check that regularly. Wait a minute. How's that make you feel? His mom checked it regularly for her family, for her kids, so that what they were watching, what they were reading, if there was gaming involved, whatever, it was safe. So we appreciate you guys doing what you do so well. Let's do this, and we'll get into about something called, a media detox. Hang on.
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much for downloading our podcast, the Faith Talk Today podcast. According to the numbers, they're huge. And again, it's not the host, obviously, it's the guests. So like Adam Holz, you can download this podcast and watch it, listen to it, and all the others. And again, thank you so much. It means that I keep my job. Go to faithtalkatlanta.com or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, this legend I'm talking to this morning, Adam Holz of Focus on the Family. Let's talk about this. Now, my kids are grown. I've got older. They're actually not boys anymore. They're men. And so, this really, this would have been great to tap into this. Well, first of all, how long has Plugged In been going on?
Well, we started as a 4-page newsletter in 1991. Pluggedin.com as a website has been around since 1999. So what's that? Put us right at 25 years, I guess.
Wow. So it's been going on for some time. And I think Ezra is my executive producer. Yeah, I think he's right around 26, 25 or whatever. So I can't keep up with numbers, but his mom was engaging and active in their lives. And I'm sure there are a ton of parents that do that. Yeah. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not, check it out, Plugged Ins. And it's not just for kids. It's it's not just for parents, it's for grandparents. And that's where we are right now, right? And also uncles and aunts, etc. I read something, I think it was a couple of months ago, Adam, and I chuckled a bit, but it's something that's real. You probably know about it. It's called texting thumb. And it's the stiffness or the inflammation of your finger. Smartphone. Now, the kids, listen to this old guy. The kids these days always have the smartphone in front of their face. Yep. And it's costing not just the physical problems, but it's also socially and mentally. And that's why we're talking about a media detox. And you're the expert. That's what we want to know. How do we get this? First of all, tell us the problem. And help us to get on the track to get it fixed.
Well, all you have to do is be in any public space and know that these days, most of us are on the phone. It feels like a large part of the time, right? Yeah. And even though we talk about this as a problem that the kids today have, frankly, it's a problem that we all have. And there's research that shows that parents and adults have just as much screen time as the kids do today. And we know from research that the average 8 to 11-year-old gets about 6 hours of screen time a day, and the average teenager gets about 8 hours, and that's outside of school and work.
Yeah.
And so really, instead of talking about how much time we're on the screen, we could literally almost talk about how much time are you not on the screen. It sort of is like when you spill a cup of water on your dining room table unexpectedly, that water fills in all the cracks, right?
Yeah.
It goes everywhere. And that's by design. The reality is that the social media networks and people just creating what we affectionately now all call content, it's all designed with an eye toward having you engage as much as possible. And if you're involved with the internet at all and you're monitoring, we have this whole lingo of analytics and engagement. Our goal is to get you to engage with our content. And not all content is created equal. Obviously, this conversation is intended to help people understand and recognize what the issues in play here are. But we're living in this crazy time where this thing didn't really exist in this form 15 years ago. It's a new thing. And now we have the sum total knowledge and information of all of humanity pretty much at our fingertips.
Yep.
And so what that means is if we're not careful, it can just take over. And so for a lot of us, both as parents and dealing with kids, we need to talk about what are some strategies to sort of claw back time that maybe we have ceded unintentionally to this, this thing that's always right in front of us, right?
And you're not only talking about kids, you're talking about smaller kids and teenagers. You're talking about adults. Yeah, I found this was months and months and months ago. I finally took Facebook off my phone because it was almost like a nervous twitch. Right. It's just like, and then when I paid attention to my screen time, I was like, my gracious, I'm wasting a lot of time, even though I enjoy the connection with Facebook with people that I live in other states, other countries that I've known for years. So it's a blessing. And I know you're not talking cold turkey. I know you're not talking take the phone and here we go out the window. Yeah. Right. How do we do this? Give us some practical steps.
Well, I think that's a great segue, Rick, because in Manville, I want to get the big axe out and chop the tree down in one fell swoop, right? And my natural sort of, once you finally dynamite me into action, because, the other thing is we can just be passive sometimes as dads, is I want to solve the problem. It's all or nothing. Okay, we're going to fix this. And this is an issue that I think resists the all or nothing approach. And instead of just, okay, we're not going to look at screens anymore, right? It's sort of like going on a diet, realizing you need to lose weight and saying, I'm not going to eat anymore.
Right.
That's going to work till about 10:30 the first morning you're doing it. And then you're like, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm going to eat what I want. And so what you need is a plan. And I would say all of our plans are going to look different depending on our circumstances. There's not a one size fits all. But what we have done in our family, and I confess, I come not as the guy who nails this all the time, but as a guy who, I think there's about 10% of really disciplined people who tend to get things right. And then there's the rest of us, right? And we're all a varying degree of mess. We're not the people who blew the curve in high school. We were somewhere right there in that B- range. I think what we need is to figure out where can we implement a concrete change and integrate that into our lives so that we begin to have sort of building blocks. And so let me give you a couple suggestions. That can be as simple as, for me, I have tried intermittently, and again, with relative success here and there, to say when I come home, I want to be present to my family. So instead of plopping down and picking up my phone and sitting there for the next 4 hours until everybody goes to bed, put my phone away and just be present for a couple hours, And so I'm not modeling that. And on the flip side, when I fall out of that habit, and that's the reality here, is the thing is right there, right? And sometimes I'll find my hand reaching for my phone and it's not there. I'm like, I wonder where I put it. It just becomes almost a reflex, like you were talking about earlier with Facebook. As we begin to integrate those changes, we can build on that. And so I think looking for spaces where we can create either time or physical space that is a tech-free zone. Maybe it's at dinner. That's a great one to start with. We're not going to have phones at the dinner table. And if you're also like me and you're saying, wait a minute, people still have dinner with their families, have dinner with your family, shoot for once a week on that. We could have a separate conversation on that. A lot of the experts say we need to be turning off our screens an hour to 2 hours before we go to bed. So another one you can do is at 9 o'clock, the screens go off. And the reason for that is what they call blue light, the ultraviolet light that's emitted from screens. It makes our brains think it's daytime. It tells our brains, wake up, it's time to be active. And so if you've been on a screen till right up the second until you go to bed, your brain is still thinking, oh, it's daytime because we've gotten that ultraviolet light. So stopping an hour or two before bed gives your brain a chance to adjust. And it's true with TV too. We talk about phone. There's screens we need to be thinking about. So yeah, looking for those places where you can get a win, as the business people say, and then build on that. And I think what happens is then you're in a position with your family to say, what are we going to do to fill this time, and how can we spend that time more productively? And when you change any habit, it's hard. Experts say it takes 21 days to a month to really integrate it. But if you can stick it out, I think it pays big dividends for you and your family.
Adam Holz of Focus on the Family, and he oversees editing and publishing of Plugged In. You'll see if you're watching this, the scroll there is pluggedin.com. And I got on there yesterday, just kind of prepping and nosing around, and I started reading some of this stuff, and it's really, really good stuff. And then this morning's conversation with Ezra, he said his mom had done that, and I guess continues to do that. I don't know who the youngest is in the family, but to help the family. And, as I read through different movies, in fact, it's not just new movies. I noticed some older movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind was on there. So, of course, I saw that back in the day. And so I started reading all that. So it's really good, practical stuff. And it kind of keeps you in the place of to make, and not that you lack intelligence, you that are listening and watching, but for me, it helps me or us make an intelligent decision on what's out there. And I love that. So real quick, Adam, I know time is running out, and I would love to talk to you again about this and some more. Let's talk a little bit about Plugged In. What a great idea. And like it helped helping Ezra's mom. I'm sure it's helped so many parents and grandparents and guardians that are out there. Kind of give a little thumbnail, if you will, of what Plugged In is and how it helps.
Yeah, we review, as you mentioned, movies, TV, video games, music, books, YouTube channels. We've got tutorials on popular apps and streaming sites. And our desire is to give you as a family the information you need to make the best decision possible about entertainment you're engaging with. So our reviews are not so much a subjective, this is great, this is terrible, but we really try to chronicle as objectively as possible all of the content that you can expect to find. And in this case, I'm talking about objectionable content. So we'll tell you how much profanity is in something, how much sexual content, the kind of images you can see, and we try to write those in a way that are fairly generic. Violence, drug and alcohol content, so that you can know going into something, if your child comes to you and says, hey, can I go see this movie? You can look up our review, and usually our reviews are published before the movies come out. And you can make a good decision. And then going deeper, we hope that as you engage with our content over time, some of the things that we talk about with regard to worldview and how these things line up with what we believe as Christians will begin to kind of seep into your DNA and thinking about entertainment from a discipleship and a faith perspective. So those are really the two things that we hope to accomplish at our website.
Some really good stuff, and I like it too because it's not like, they're all bad and we're all gonna die. So just get ready for it. I mean, there is some really great content there that folks, I don't care if you're a grandfather, grandmother, uncle, aunt, parent, single parent, whatever, and you've been wanting to play an active role in this particular area. And believe me, I know this is a battle at times with your kids.
Oh, man.
I've been there. I've been there, done that. I know, but this can help you not be the police, but help you intelligently. It educates in so many ways. So check it out. It's pluggedin.com. And Adam Holz is a part of Focus on the Family, the director of media and culture there. Of course, you can hear Focus on the Family here at Faith Talk Atlanta. Adam, we appreciate you. We would love to get you back. Let's talk about just some other stuff, just see what's going on. Maybe in the future, next few months, we'll catch up with you and see what's going on. There's the ticker goes by. FocusOnTheFamily.org is a great place to go to as well. I'm sure there's a link, right, to Plugged In, no doubt there. Well, it looks like we've run out of time. These shows go so fast when we have great guests. Thank you for being a great guest, Adam. We appreciate it. Hey, and thank you so much for watching us and listening to us and downloading our podcast. And you can download this one just about right after it's done. It's amazing, this technology. FaithTalkAtlanta.com. And, of course, check out all the other great ones. We'll have another amazing guest next week on Faith Talk Today. Have a good week. I'm Rick Probst. This is Faith Talk Today. See ya.